Peace and love. This is the Bubbly Love Show. Peace and love, peace and love. My name is Bubbles, and I am so excited to be here tonight, this evening. Tonight's topic is going to be on polygamy, polyamory, and monogamy. And I just want to say that, it's been some time prior to a live that I've gotten a little jittery, right? To be quite honest with you, it used to happen a bit more when I smoked as well. And then, because I feel like when I was smoking, a lot of things would just be in my mind. But ever since I stopped smoking, to be quite honest, I find myself being more grounded. And it's easier for me to be in that grounded state of mind and being. But I found myself getting a little jittery today because of the topic that I decided to discuss today. Peace, Eki. And I, this topic again has really come to my spirit. It even came to me in a meditation, the word, just the poly word. And later on, as things was happening within my life, I realized why. And I realized that, I've gained clarity that this is the topic that needs to be discussed. And to just speak about it openly, I put on my post that I had shared how I feel like I was just getting a bit in my mind about how these topics could possibly offend someone, or just, the different forms of expression. I'm always very big on not offending anyone, but I realize as a part of my healing, this show is so beneficial for myself, and I trust for others because I come on here and I'm just authentic and I share my heart, my soul, my spirit, just what is truly resonating with me at that moment. And for me to heal the trauma of not allowing anyone in their perhaps differed perspective stop me from sharing my truth and what I see to be that works for me, and what I see to be truthful for me, what I feel is best for me. And I realize that when it comes to this topic as well, it's not about well, we can share facts, but it's more subjective. I look at it more subjectively because there's all types of different people in the world. They all express themselves in different ways, and I really do my best to not judge others in the way of I treat anyone differently because they perhaps have a different lifestyle other than myself. I will say, as a human, I am not perfect. And literally my shirt says that. I'm not perfect, but I'm original. That's a fact. And it's I feel like we have so many judgmental type of teachings in society that it's a lot to just break down. It's a lot to release and all that. What I'm saying is that I intentionally do my best to not judge others for their difference in lifestyles. I would not ever, it's not in my spirit, even if I don't agree with it, it's not in my spirit to treat anyone any type of way, unless I feel like they're not a nice person, and I just need you to not be around me. Then that's the only time you'll kind of get a different type of reaction from me. But other than that, if you have a lifestyle that's different from my own, I'm very big on just not judging that. So that whole spiel, y'all, because I'll be honest, I got so much to say. I got so much to talk about. I have individuals who would like to come on with me today that I'm going to definitely welcome to the stage, okay? However, I would like to tell my story first. I would like to really share what brought this up, more than just the meditation, but basically my view of relationships for the past few years. I have had my fair share, and prior to this video, I was like, yeah, let me do some research about like polygamy and all that, like in history, her story, talk about different cultures and religions. And I was just like, I heard the voice and it was like, Deja, you already have everything inside of you, everything you need. Like, I've been through a lot when it comes to relationships, and even studying religion as like, which I'll get more into later. Like, I at a point was going to take my shahada to become Muslim, and so I studied a lot the Quran and their teachings of what they teach about having multiple men having multiple wives and the reason why they do it. So I'll get into that. So it's like, I already have everything I need. And a lot of times it's like, it's great to do research, right? However, I realized that one of the biggest like research and wisdom that you can gain is from your own lived experience, right? I could read anything and share with you what I read on the page, or I could just sit here and speak from my wisdom that I've gained throughout the years. And that's what I'm gonna do, because that's what resonates with me. Okay, this tea is really helping me with my groundedness. It's funny because it ended up being red today and there are no mistakes. And I drank like a cherry blueberry juice, lemonade juice that I made earlier, which was red, groundedness. And then also what's coming to me about the red, in addition to groundedness, is also like, this is a womb tea that I made, and it's like the womb, and I think about blood, which is water, which is flow, which is emotion, and I think about birth and all of the things that I am birthing, I am creating, all of the old me's that I am shedding the skin of, the transformation. It's so much symbolism, but that's what I think about with that. So before we get started, oh, thank you for sharing. Can I ask anyone else, is my video going in and out? Can you hear me properly? I think that's a good way to start these videos too. So y'all hear me? So y'all hear me properly? Because, you know, honestly, you know what it is? I feel like the part that I'm sitting at right now, it was being a little wonky earlier. But can y'all let me know if y'all hear me properly? If it's all right, cool. Thank you. Thank you. All right, cool. All right, just let me know in the chat if my chattings get a little, you know what I'm saying? All right, cool. Give thanks, y'all. So before we get into the topics, we are always going to start off with a collective breath. The reason why I like to do a collective breath in the beginning is because it is giving gratitude for your life. When we take the time to be intentional about our breaths, we are giving gratitude to the Most High, to the creation of ourselves, that we are happy to be alive with our breath, right? So you woke up today, there is a reason to be alive. There is a reason to give thanks, and a great way to give thanks is with your breaths, especially when it's intentional. So let's start off with our intentional breaths. We're going to start off with 3 and all that. And what I would like everyone to do is, I would like you to take time. So when you take your inhale, fill up the belly, bring it past the womb down to the toes, hold it, and slowly exhale through the mouth. That's going to be the breaths that we're taking, okay? So let's do 3 together. That was the exemplar. Hands at center or wherever you feel is comfortable for you. Let's take that first deep inhale and just give thanks for our breath, our life, our beings. And hold. And release slowly through the mouth. Second one, take a deep inhale, bring it down to your toes. and hold. And release slowly through the mouth. One more time, make it count. Take a deep inhale. And hold. Release. Give yourself a hug. Say, I love me. I am balance. I am integrity. I am strong. I am bold. I have everything I need. I am gratitude. I am patience. I am kindness. I am forgiveness. I am expression. I am free. And I love me. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Shake it all out, shake it all out. Nice. Okay. Okay, awesome. Give thanks. How y'all feel? Who did that breath with me? Tell me how y'all feel, because I'm feeling real good right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready. Bubbles is ready. You know the vibes. All right. Okay. So let's get into the topic. Okay, cool. Balance. Ashe. Alright, y'all, so let me get into the chattings because I got a lot to say. So alright, so as a review, the topics of today is going to be polygamy, polyamory, and monogamy. Y'all, I want to give y'all the real definitions, like from Webster and all that, and then we gonna get into it. Okay. Alright, cool. Alright, so let's start off with monogamy. Monogamy is the practice or state of being married to one person at a time, or the practice or state of having a sexual relationship with only one partner, right? Peace. Excuse me. Alright, polygamy. The practice or custom of having more than one wife or husband at the same time. So the polygamy one is the married one. I ain't gonna lie with, y'all see my video when I was like polyamorous. It had to come to me after I was like, oh, it's wait, see? There's that word be messing with me. Polyamory. Because I was like, wait, polyamorous, so it's polyamory. So the pictures that they got here is hilarious. The practice, polyamory is the practice of engaging in multiple romantic and typically sexual relationships with the consent of all people involved. I found this interesting because I like that it has like with consent, because one of the topics that I wanted to discuss today is cheating, right? And I realized that within like relationships and stuff, um, like if we think about why different relationships have ended when it comes to our own personal experience, and when it also has come to like TV, when you watch TV and all that, a lot of times it's because of cheating that is the reason of the end of the relationship. Yeah. And I want to talk about that. So, first off, when we think about when we think about what a healthy relationship looks like, I would say that one of the traits of a healthy relationship, whether it's romantic or even a friendship, but let's just keep it romantic for now, but I just got to say that. One of those traits is going to be integrity. It's going to be honesty, right? That makes a healthy relationship. That's a fact. Like, that's a fact. I see that as a fact. And I would say that when it comes to cheating, that is like the opposite. More at times it's gonna be something that's done behind somebody's back. It's not gonna be of integrity, right? It's gonna be behind somebody's back. So it's not integrity. And I realize within a lot of our families, especially Black, brown communities, indigenous, however we want to put that together, right? Especially within our communities, it's kind of like something that's almost, I don't even want to say expected, but it's kind of like it's a common theme. Let's say that it's a common theme. It's a common theme, and really in all ethnicities and all that. But I just want to say, like, for instance, when I watch like shows and stuff like that, I really don't like how some of the like Black shows it's always this like cheating thing going on, and it's like that's where the drama is, that's what everybody wants to see. And it's like, why don't we have more examples of a relationship that is honest and open and doesn't include all of that extra drama? They make it seem like that's what most families look like, or that's what they portray that broken type of family message, which is definitely intentional, right? We're gonna talk about social justice on another show. But so when it comes to cheating, and I want to share like my own experience with cheating and being like just dishonest in relationship wise, right? So first off, I want to say that my longest relationship was like 3.5 to 4 years, and it was actually with the same sex, a woman. And what's so funny is that like prior to that, I mean, I was like experimental when I was younger, but not like to have like a whole relationship like that with another woman. And this is my first time saying this on here, but it's like, I gotta share my story, y'all. I'm not really embarrassed to say it. It's more so I feel like I'm always trying to protect somebody else. And it's like, if you know, and if you don't, you don't. You know what I'm saying? Who that is. So it is what it is. So this is a part of my healing journey. And I realized that within the relationship between us, we had so many characteristics of a healthy relationship. Like, so much so where it made me be like, dang, like, why didn't I have this with a man? Like, it was wild. That's another story. But what I want to just say is that we had so many healthy aspects when it comes to communication, when it comes to being honest with each other, supporting one another, also creating excitement within our relationship. I realized was like very big, of just always keeping it exciting. And unfortunately, there are some relationships where in the beginning you meet someone and you be putting on a low front, you be doing things that you'll never do later on in a relationship. And I feel like that's whack. I feel like it's like, if you really want to be with somebody, like, be consistent in what it is that you're putting out. Like, the whole fronting thing and, trying to show off as your best self. It's like that's cute or whatever, but it's like, are you gonna be consistent in that? Are you gonna always show up as your best self, no matter what that looks like? But are you gonna always put in that effort, essentially? So I feel like relationships are definitely effort. That's something that I've learned as well, is effort that needs to be taken on both parties' side. And since we're talking about all these different relationships, I would say on all parties' side, right? It definitely takes effort, and it takes consistency. Communication as well. How are you feeling? I feel like during relationships, especially when they get a little longer, you tend to get a little like used to each other, that you always don't even express with one another, like, how are y'all doing? Like, what's the updates? You know what I'm saying? What's the expectations even? Like, what does an ideal relationship look like for you? What does that actually look like? I realize that it's not always talked about. And I feel like when that's something that is talked about, then it's a way that y'all can truly see if y'all have the potential to have long-term relationship, or if it's just a fling type of vibe. If you're not looking for anything long-term, if that's not like in your wants or needs at that moment, then that's cool. But I also feel like that should be expressed as well. You know, if you're looking for something long term, it's definitely essential. What I've learned is that your ideals aligned, and also that you have the same, excuse me, not the same, but you have similar visions to what your life would look like, what a healthy relationship would look like. Okay. So, Instagram is sending me these messages. All right, focus. So yeah, so I would say those are traits of a healthy relationship. Also want to just be totally vulnerable in here and share my stories about like cheating and all that, right? So when it comes to like, I used to drink, and I also used to really go through a lot when it comes to lust. I feel like I can confidently say that lust is not such a huge part of my life anymore. I won't say that it's not existent, but I would say that it's not a big part of my life. Like, I don't find myself to really lust after anyone in a huge way, like the way I used to, you know what I'm saying? Because I used to be lusting after these people, and you know what I'm saying? And the reason why I'm bringing up lust, and the reason why alcohol, I would say in my own past experiences, the times where I have cheated in relationships, where first of all, connected to liquor, connected to be under the influence, and it was also connected to lust. Those two went hand in hand. And in my own experiences, when I, like, in retrospect, looking at those experiences, I'm like, would I have done the same thing if I wasn't under the influence? But then I also look at it like, okay, if I was under the influence and I was moving in truth, even though it really was moving in spirits, but another story. If I was moving in what I truly wanted to do without thought of the repercussions, right? Is that truly what I wanted to do? Like sleep with this person or kiss this person, whatever may have you, right? And what I realized that, again, it's like connected, what I realized that is connected to lust. And I'm like, okay, there was times in the past where, again, like, I used to lust after people, and especially females, which I'm more like, I'm not really attracted to females at this time anymore. And I realized that, yeah, I loved the person that I was with at that time, but there was a lot of lust in our relationship. And I mean, I loved her, but when it came to me and women, for the most part, it was more lusty than anything. So as I released lust, I released women within my experience. And then even having relationships in the past with men, definitely like lust and all that there. As I have released these things of liquor and lust, I've realized that I don't find myself having any longer like an urge to be with someone else when I'm with one person. I feel like I'm honestly the type where it's like, even if I see somebody that's attractive, even if they mad cool, like maybe somebody that I would usually talk to if I was single, I just don't have that energy in me anymore to be like, I don't look at them that way. Like, just because I know, like, all right, I'm loyal to this person right now, so I'm not looking at anybody. And even when I am single, I realize that I don't look at people and want to be with them because of how they look, or because of, you know, their attraction that they may have. Even if they're smart, if they're funny, you know, those are traits that I like. But I'm like, okay, what else? You know, like when I truly have deeper conversations and I get to know someone, that's what makes me end up like liking them and, you know, wanting to bag them and all that, because I eat bags, okay? All right, hold on. So that's usually like my attraction for others. So in my expression, I practice monogamy. And in the past, I have definitely considered and thought about polyamory. I specifically was thinking about it at this one time where I really I was thinking about relationships. There was a time when I was single and I was just thinking about relationships. I was doing a lot of reflection of my past. I believe it was actually after that 3.5, 4 year relationship. And I was just doing a lot of reflecting. And I started to realize that the way we're taught about relationships, that it can involve a lot of attachment. It can involve a lot of, like just expectations and attachment and like, what is that other word? Like use more than, it's going to come to me. But I just realized that the way that we're taught about relationships, right? And then I start to think about it. I start to think about my past and cheating. And I was like, well, what if I was with someone and we had an open relationship? And then if I like talk to somebody else or had sex or whatever, then that wouldn't be cheating. That would just mean be talking to somebody else. And I was like, I think I kind of like this idea. Like this, you know, this sounds interesting. It sounds intriguing. And I remember the guy I started talking to at that time, he was married and all that before. So he was like, bruh, he wasn't with that. But I remember telling him, I'm like, listen, before we even started talking, I was like, listen, like, I'm not jealous if you talk to anybody like that or whatever, because like I'm secure with who I am and all that. And it's like, I know what we have, and what you have with somebody else, that ain't my business, you heard. And I remember this energy and this feeling, right? Me and him ended up talking, and then like it ended up just being us. And I feel like for many reasons, more than just the way he viewed relationships, but also like I don't know, like I feel like I guess I'm so used to that. And then I mean, maybe it was Alright, so what I'm saying is that it ended up a monogamous relationship, right? And I remember around the end even like still talking about that, just being like, yeah, you know, like, but if you wanted to talk to somebody else, like that would be fine, or whatever, right? But then we stopped talking, When I look back at the relationship, like real talk in retrospect, it's like I did like him, but I feel like I wasn't like satisfied with just him. And that's the reason why I was like more open to talking to somebody else. Because I'm like, you know, me and you got a thing, but I'll be open to talk to somebody else. I don't feel like you got everything I want, really. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like on that topic, like, I don't feel like anybody's going to have like everything on the checklist. But I feel like in my own experience, I've realized when I'm with certain people, I just don't have wandering eyes. Like I'm just like, yo, I'm really happy with you and who you are and what we have. And it's just like, I don't even want to be with anybody else. Even if we decide to have like, I'm like, I don't want to decide to have an open relationship, because I'm good with having just us. And also I realized like I just been thinking about like quality over quantity as well. And it's like, like it sounds cool to like talk to a bunch of people. And honestly, like before I started like really like being an adult and all that, I remember like talking, you know, to different people. And I remember even having multiple sex partners. And I'll be honest, it ain't feel good. And more than not, like, didn't feel good because I wasn't being honest about it. That's a fact. But it was just more so of like my spirit, my energy. I was just like, and then it got confusing. I'll be talking to this person about something, then I talk to this person. I'm like, wait, did I tell you that already? Did we connect on that? I forgot. And I was just like, this is too much for me. It was just too much for me. I was like, I can't keep up with this shit. I just think I would have talked to one person. And even there was a time where it's like I would flirt with like multiple guys, but I would always just have sex with one person, like be intimate in that way with one person. And I'm like, yo, that's just what works for me, you know what I'm saying? And then I just continued that. In recent times, again, just like being an open-minded person, I thought about polyamory again. And you know, I was with somebody else, all that, and then I was just like, but even before being with them, I was just like, I thought about it and I was just like, actually, like, that's not what I want right now. Like, my truth is that I'm at a time in my life where I like a family. I'd like to build with someone and travel the world together and grow and have, again, like a family. There was a time in my life where I said that I want to have multiple husbands. You know what I'm saying? It sounded like the life. But then I really thought about it. I'm like, do I want multiple husbands? Because I wanted multiple husbands in different countries and just having baby from every different country. I was like, that would be a vibe. But then I was like, that's a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that'd be a lot to handle. And then it's like, if I'm having babies with multiple, you know, guys in different countries, I'm like, am I going to have to stay in every country for 9 months? It's like, am I going to leave my baby there then? You know, like, it's all these thoughts. And I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know. It sound cool. It sound dope. But I was like, nah, I don't think I want to do that. So I was just like, you know, what if I really just find somebody that I just want to be happy? Like, that is us. And we have this, like, we create this life together. That's not even what society tells you, but it's what we wanted to make it. So if we want to experiment with other people or whatever the case may be, like with each other or whatever that looks like, right? Like, what about that, right? What does a true partnership look like, you know? And I'm like, I feel like I like this better. Rather than I feel like spreading myself thin. That's how my perspective of it is. Like, I'm like, nah, I think that, you know, and then just also knowing me and my spirit and who I am. And I'm very sensitive energetically. I'm like, I feel like I would want to be with one person. And I would like us, again, to just have an open life and just allow experiences, allow ourselves to travel, allow like a family, build a family, all that in a healthy way. And that's my spiel of my monogamy. You know, eventually when I have this conversation, because I know that the Bubbly Love Show just gonna grow, but eventually I want to have this conversation, and when I'm inviting people on, everybody has their shirt on. So I'm gonna have the monogamy shirt on, and then somebody else is gonna have like polyamorous, and another person is gonna have like polygamy. And then we're like, all right, let's share the similarities and differences in each relationship. Let's talk about it. So before I had anybody on, I just wanted to say my spiel and all that. And I also want to just reiterate that me sharing everything is like, I wanted to ensure that this live is a judgment-free zone, that it is a free and open space for communication and honesty in whatever your perspective it is, whether it's different or the same. You know, it's all perspectives are welcome as long as it is of love, right? No bashing anyone. And I also just wanted to create this space for conversation and having an open discussion and conversation, but more than like a debate type of vibes. Like, oh, well, you shouldn't do this because it is, or you should do this because it is. Like, nah, that's not what it's about. It's about everyone sharing their own perspective, their own truth, their own views. So yeah, judgment-free zone. So with that being said, I had a few people that shared expressed interest in coming on and speaking about this topic. If any of those peeps are still on, you can send a request. My ideal live tonight looks like multiple people, so I want it to be a few of us. I learned the other day that you can have like 4 people on live. I don't know if it's four, but I was on live the other day and it was like 4 of us, and I was like, son, let's go. Okay, so Sam is requesting to be in. So we're gonna start with that. And again, if there's anybody else who feels called in, let's talk about the tea you heard. That's not that one no more.
Hi,
Sam,
what's going on?
how you doing?
I am so blessed. I'm so good. Thank you. How are you?
You look so nice.
Thank you. I think I look cute
Yes,
today.
I love it. Yeah, so thank you for coming on. I appreciate you for staying through the whole chattings. I was like, before I invite anybody on, I was just like, let me tell my story so I don't have any distractions because I could be distracted. So let me just tell my story, my perspective of everything. And yeah, so I would like for you to share now your perspective and what you practice and why and whatever's in your heart
Yeah,
to share.
of course. Oh my God, I love to share. I'm excited. Okay, so actually I am polyamorous. I've done monogamy before. Monogamy is cool. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't mind it. But I don't know. I like to mix things up. I don't want to stay in the same like consistency. You know, we're different people. We evolve. Things happen. You don't know. You don't know how life flows. And I'm a very flowy person. I flow through my life. Don't really plan nothing. Um, so that being said, like right now I'm actually into a like a polyamorous relationship. Keeping it light, keeping it simple. It's very new, it's very fresh. So like we're dating each other. We're also really good friends, so that's cool. Um, and we actually talked about like a set of rules, what works for us and things like this. It just works for individually each other and we agree upon it, or like what's cool, what's not. So I would honestly like to say communication is key. Like please communicate. Like if anything, like even if something happens like during or something, communication and trust.
Oh, are you taking a sip? Oh my gosh, I was thinking about, by the way, I was thinking about you because I made a juice today. I was like, Sam would be so proud of me. Sam would be so proud of
I'm
me.
very proud of you. It's actually funny that you say that. I'm not going to change the topic, but I actually ended up on produce today because I'm actually going to make an order for actually a show that's happening. Please, people, check this out. There is actually a little kids event happening, a family planning happening in Brooklyn. I need to get the information. I'll send it to Bubbles, but or you guys can follow me. I am light go flow 3. And I will be posting the information on my story, and my blissful juices will actually be there.
Okay.
But not to get off topic. I'm sorry, I was taking a sip. um, but yes, so oh yeah, okay. Other things that we talked about. I would also I would in your relationship talk about what's comfortable for you, of course, what's uncomfortable for you, what do your boundaries look like, together also as like individually. um what else I would honestly say, and just like I don't want to just have fun, just be open and just see where it takes you, and like as you navigate through your relationship you see what works, what doesn't, and that's it. Like just be open and honest.
Yeah. So I have a question for you because I felt when I was like reading, I find polygamy, like, so polyamory and polygamy, right? I
Yeah.
find it to be interesting because one of them is like a relationship that's open and y'all are like, everyone is in communication with each other. But then polygamy is like, marriage, right? So it's like
Mhm.
marriage between, multiple partners. But I realized in my own like what I'm reading and also what I know to be true, is that it's either like one man and like multiple wives, or like
Yeah.
one woman and multiple husbands. But not like, I don't know, I haven't heard of it being like, I don't know, like different, you know what I'm saying? Like subcategories and everything, right? So I find that to be interesting because I actually didn't even get into that with when it comes to, I want to share when it comes to the Muslim thing, right?
Yeah.
So I was saying earlier that like I was close to like taking my shahada and all that. So essentially in the Quran, it teaches that the reason why they teach about like polygamy relationships specifically though, because they don't teach about women having multiple husbands. They teach about men having multiple wives. So let's also talk about that and realize that, okay? They only do it in one aspect, which I feel like is imbalanced. If it's gonna be one for one, then the other one should be allowed to. But anyways, when it comes to the reason why theirs is because there is more women to men,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's also about women having, okay, like for instance, there's stories like in the Quran where it talks about like, say if two brothers who are Muslim, like they're mad close or whatever, and usually in the Muslim like tradition, Islam, it's like they take care of their wives, like financially and stuff, right?
Yeah.
They have the
Yeah.
home and they take care of them, right? So they basically say, oh, if two bros, like they mad, they bros or whatever, and say if one of them passes away and their wife now is like without a husband, they would like marry their bros like wife, and not on some like, yeah, I'm taking your girl, but like on some like, oh, let me take care of her now.
Yeah. Yeah. I've actually heard about this, like just recently too. Like I was having a discussion with somebody about this.
Uh-huh.
And
So
I
I
did not
find it
know
to
that.
be, I find it to be, sorry, what did you say?
Oh, sorry. No, I was gonna say I didn't know that about like the Muslim like
Yeah.
community.
Yeah. So it doesn't like, it's not, to my understanding, it's like it's of your choice. It's not like you have to have multiple wives, but that's the, how you say, that's they're not theory, but that's the reasoning behind it really is because first of all, there's more men to women. Excuse me, more women to men, so that basically all women will have somebody taking care of them, type stuff. So it's like that's the energy of it, being like, yeah, but we're just taking care of them and making sure they're good, you know. And then also
Mhm.
there's like, what's interesting is like there's like rules as far as like the first wife. So like the first wife is, there's certain things that they share that like the second and third, fourth wives, they're not necessarily like, they kind of they, so it's like the first wife is like VIP, and the other
Mhm.
wives is like, you know, they got to go through the first wife first type stuff. Which is like so interesting to me. But it's like, so again, like connected to what you were saying about like it being rules and stuff like
Mhm.
that, like or just, you know, agreements.
Yeah.
But I was gonna ask you as far as like marriage, like, well, first of all, before I even ask that question, let me first ask, what is like your view when it comes to marriage?
Okay, so I don't believe in marriage.
Okay.
I think it's a beautiful thing. I just don't think
Yeah.
for me personally, I just don't think it's for me just because I'm so free. I'm very secure in myself, but I'm not gonna lie, I need a lot of space and I'm a very busy person. And I'm honestly mostly like I love love, don't get me wrong, but I'm very career driven. And first
Mhm.
and foremost, that's where I'm at in my journey in my life right now. Maybe later in life I will feel different, I don't know. But right now I'm just really focused on like my career, my business, everything that I'm building and things like this. So like marriage is I don't see it for me.
Mhm. And can you also share, like me and you have had the conversation, but if it's okay with you, can you also share about like how do you look like with family and stuff like that? Like do you want a family or
Yeah, of course, I don't mind.
okay.
Um, so it's funny that you actually bring this up. Um, okay, so let me get backstory. For a very long time, I wanted to have kids. And then I ended up getting I wouldn't say exactly sick, but I ended up like going through some like health concerns. Moving forward, like it put like a time limit on me on like if I want to have kids and what does that look like. So like, am I freezing my eggs? Like, am I trying to have a child conceive or anything like this? Um, Recently, I actually had a few months ago, I had a journey. I had a mushroom journey or a plant medicine journey, if you would rather say. And I realized that I no longer like felt called to have a family. Um, and that was and I was okay with that. So that's where I'm at right now in my journey. I don't feel to have any kids, but I'm not gonna. I don't know what that's gonna look like in the future. I'm not completely closed to the idea of it. I'm keeping it open, but right now, like this is the way I feel on like at least for right now. I'll see what things look like when I'm living in another country and like
Mm-hmm.
like I'm building a school, so like when like so like that. Um, I'm very close to like a lot of my little cousins, my nieces, my nephew. So these like they're like my kids to me. Like they're my temporary children. Like I see them, I hang out, we babysit, I nanny, and then they go about their day with their family, and I'm like, okay, now I go back to living my life.
Mhm. I will say that that's the part that I love about being a teacher is because like,
Hmm.
all right, so I remember when I was younger, I've always said like I would like to have a daycare because I was like, the reason why I want to have a daycare is because, oh, even when I have children and they like become adults, I'll always have children like coming in the daycare. So it's like I'll always have children. Because, it'd be different when, you have a child and then they become an adult and then they're
Yeah.
not interested in hanging out with you anymore and stuff. But, like, all right, if I have a daycare or even like now I'm building this youth program as well. So it's like, I'm always going to have children. So I love that idea of always having children. And something, Sam, that has been coming up a lot for me as well. And it's funny because I had this thought as a little girl about having like an orphanage,
Hmm.
right? And being like their mother. And like like so it's just like they never want to even leave the orphanage because I'm their mother and I'm the best. So
I
just
feel
having
that.
all these children and just like like just this
Hmm.
vision. And lately, as I've been working on this youth program for Togo, Africa, and New York, and connecting it and stuff, I realized that that's going to be one of my target audiences is going to be orphans. So being able to be that mother for them. And I was just telling like a brother that I'm collaborating with in partnership with the youth program. I was just telling him today, like, yo, I'm like the mom in my friend group. And I kind of didn't like 100% put that together, I guess, in the beginning. But then I was just like, you know what? Like, when I think about it, I'm like, that is me. Because I've always been the way, like, I remember the other day somebody was like, oh, yeah, because Bubbles, you got some snacks. I'm like, yeah, I got snacks. I got the napkins. Like what you need? Like, I got some hand sanitizer, some lotion. You need a mirror to look at your teeth. I have the things that you take the thing out your teeth with, like toothpick things. Like what you need, I got you. Are you cold? I got a blanket for you. So I'm like, you know what? I'll take that. I'll take that. And even growing up, like with others like asking for like advice or whatever it is, or even if it's like more than just advice, just a lot like a ear to listen, like
Yeah.
just being an ear to listen. So that's always been like me. So I'm like, all right, I can see like the whole like mom of the group and all that. It's like embracing it now. And I feel like there's so many different ways to like be a mother,
Hmm.
especially as women, so many different ways to be a mother, and all of them are fulfilling. All of them are fulfilling, whether they're like they come out of you or they're just a part of your life. And I feel like that's why for so long when it comes to me, like why I kind of get went back and forth with both. Like at first I'm like, yeah, I don't want to have no babies. Then I'm like, I want to have a bunch of babies. I don't want to have no babies. I want to have a bunch of babies. Like I just go back and forth. And I remember like my biggest thing right now, like even though I know that that's something that I would like to have, I'm
Yeah.
also like I feel like because I know that I'm going to be teaching like all of my life,
Hmm.
I feel
Hmm.
like I'm also just okay with just what happens, like whatever
Yeah.
happens. And I feel like that's a great way to be, to just like allow that openness in your life and not be so rigid to be like, I have to do this or my mission is not complete in this earth. Like I don't feel
Mhm.
like for me, I don't feel like having a child like is the thing to complete me or to complete like my goals in life.
Yeah.
Like no, it's something like that would be like, oh, that would be beautiful. I would love to have this, but it's also like I would be okay regardless of what happens.
Hmm. I feel the exact same way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that what's been coming up for me is being being grateful for everything that you do have and not trying to control or force anything. However, also being honest at that moment what you feel is right for you. Because I feel like even at certain times thinking about polyamory, like going back and forth with it, I'm like, okay, there was a point where I'm like, yeah, this would be cool. And there's a point where like,
Mhm.
no, I don't think I want this. But it's just like I want to go to that solid foundation of like choosing what is best for you in your
Mhm.
life at that moment and whomever you're sharing a connection with, just
Yeah.
being open and honest about that and where y'all want to be with that. And I feel like going back to the whole prompt about what is a healthy relationship, right? You mentioned the same things like communication, honesty, like just also having like rules, which I feel like can go next to like expectations,
Yeah.
right? Because I feel like sometimes expectations can be looked at as a negative, but it's like, no, you need to know what you expect in a relationship. Like what are the things that you expect now and even perhaps long term, even as those things develop and
Hmm.
progress, like having those conversations every few weeks, months, whatever it is that works, but just being like, yo, let's have an update chat.
Yeah.
Let's have a
Yeah.
review. Let's have a review. Like, because things are gonna change. Like that's the only thing that is consistent is change. So yeah.
Exactly, 100%. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, there's literally times where I'll sit down, I'm like, okay, like, do I need some space, like from like my partner or just like from friends or whatever in general? And then I'll be like, or like, do I feel the need to like, like maybe more bonding, more quality time, things like this. Like, and this, I just said this yesterday too. I was talking to a friend and I was like, ask for what you need and ask for what you want. Like if you have like you have a set standard for like your individual or things like this, like whether you're like open or not, like ask for it. Ask for what you want and need.
Hmm.
How are we gonna know like what do you want and need if you're not communicating about it?
I agree. And that's like going back to like the whole thought of like, okay, I'll be happy with this or like where am I at right now? I feel like it's just important to know what you want at that time. I
Mm-hmm.
shared a message like the other day and I was like, know what you want so that you're not wasting your time with something that you don't want, right? Like time is valuable, it's something you'll never get back. And I realized in my own experiences the times where I really didn't know what I wanted, I was just
Mm-hmm.
wasting time. It's true. Like, like, yeah, I learned things, but it's also like, yeah, but you was just diddly dabbling because you didn't really know what you wanted at that moment. But it's like when you can become more, when you can have more clarity into your life, I feel like that's beneficial for both yourself and for anyone that you're involving yourself with, whether it's a romantic partner or even just friendships, family.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want, and also what do you need, right? Like what are your needs, what are the boundaries, the requirements and stuff to even be in your life, like what is the boundaries, what is the qualifications to even be in my life, to be in my presence, to be like breathing like around me, like real talk,
Yeah.
and being honest about that
Yeah.
you know
Yeah. It's like
I feel
I,
like go ahead.
oh, no, I was just gonna say I have standards to my friendships. Like in order to be my friend, I'm gonna hold you to a certain standard, and like that's
Hmm.
it's like I don't know, like that's it for me. Like
Yeah.
if I don't have if this isn't like we don't have standards for each other, then I don't know what we're doing.
Hmm. And when I think about that as well, I feel like it's even similar. It's like, again, communication, honesty,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, free expression, like
Oh,
within like even a friendship, it's like, all
yeah.
right, I don't. like I know for me, I get along with a lot of people, but at the same time, I don't consider like everyone a friend to say. I mean,
Mhm.
I'll be honest, I call a lot of people friends, but but like when I think about it in a deep way, like when I think about it in a deep way, like who I'm gonna really like be vulnerable with and like open myself, express myself up
Mhm.
to and stuff like
Mhm.
that, is gonna be again a certain standard about like integrity, because I feel like for me in the past, when I can think about friends who it just didn't work for me and them to hang out or whatever, they could be a dope person or whatever, is
Mhm.
usually like liars. Like I don't like the lying thing. And I also don't like negativity, like constant negativity, complaining, all that kind of stuff. Like you
Nope.
could miss me with that. Like I'm good off that. Like you could be the dopest person, but if you just always complaining all the time and you just could find a negative and everything, like I'm good off that. Hey Shaniqua, how you
Mhm.
doing, sis? Um, yeah, so that's definitely, I feel like it's definitely important to just have standards in all relationships within your life. And again, healthy, yeah, communication. And
Mhm.
what else? And then also I feel like openness is needed as well when it comes to
Yep.
this, like I feel like openness is a part of like acceptance, because it's not like accepting, for instance, if somebody has toxic behavior, not just accepting toxic behavior, but more so being open to like understanding and having compassion and grace for someone if
Yes.
they're perhaps going through some ish or whatever. But then also setting your standard to be like, all right, yo, I understand you going through something, but if it been like 6 months and you continuously with the toxic stuff, I don't know how long I can hang on. You know what I'm saying? So like I feel like having a balance with everything.
No, 100%. 100%. Honestly, like, I agree.
Yeah. What Zen said. Zen said all relationships, friendships, romantic alike are either about growth and healing or it ain't about nothing. I ain't
Facts.
worried about nothing. That
Facts.
just came to me. But I agree. And something that I learned a while ago when I had to really like separate myself from all my old friends, real talk, like 95%, if not 100. Like most of my old friends was not because like, oh, this person is not a nice person.
Mhm.
Like that's how you say, that's like that's you better be a nice person. Like, yeah, like okay, and what else though? But I realized that I was just talking about this the other day. I realized that some of my friends, they just didn't want to grow. They wanted to be stagnant. They wanted to be rigid in the things that they consume. And when I say consume, I'm not really talking about eating right now. I'm talking about consuming as far as their environment and the things that they're into. I
Mhm.
realized, like, literally three of my closest friends, like, now we're females, I would consider like my best friend. I just realized that we weren't in alignment anymore. Some of my
Mhm.
bros that was like Brody, like, play video games and
Yep.
smoke and chill and like all that. But then I'm like, but bro, like, what else? Like, could I take you to a library? Like, can I take you to a business event? Because I always had that balance and hood and like, yeah, I want to
Mhm.
play video games and smoke, but it's like I also want to go to like an event where I'm learning about something like
Yeah.
financial literacy or something like that. And that's why I felt like my closest friends would be the ones that I could do both with. Like, yo, let's go smoke a spliff outside the financial literacy event before we come
Yes.
I'm not smoking anymore, but I'm just saying, that was the
That's
that was
me right now, actually. That's me right now. I'm like, okay. Like,
yeah, like but just having that balance, and like for me, I would say even now, like having friends I could like go to parties with and dance, shake my
mhm.
butt, and we could also like be about something, but that's not just all it's about. You know what I'm saying? And just
Mhm.
getting lit all day, like, because that was like my childhood, and I when I say childhood, I don't mean 10, but I mean like the teenage years of just like underage drinking and all that kind of stuff and just getting lit. And it's just like when I look at some of the old French friends that I used to be around, I'm just like, dang, son, that was like more than 10 years ago when we were teenagers and you still doing the same shit. and we pushing 30. If you like, a lot of my friends are older than me, so they're already like in their 30s. I'm 29, but it's just like, bruh, like what we gonna do different? You know, that saying, a saying that I don't like is, "Hey, what's up? How you doing?" "Oh, you know, same shit, different day." Bro, why?
That's what I'm
Change it up,
saying.
bro. Why? Change it up, like change something up. And connecting back to relationships, I feel like that's important in relationships as well. Change it
Mm,
up, like
yep,
change it up.
yep,
Go somewhere together, travel together, do new things together, right? Like I
yep.
remember a relationship I had when I was in like high school, which was like my first, I want to say my first grown-up relationship. It was like very healthy, and we was always with each other, and it just was like this whole energy. And I remember after a while, we was together for almost a year, like 11 months. And I remember after a while, I just got bored. And I mean bored in a way where I'm like, dang, all we do is just smoke, and I watch you like, play watch basketball, and we play video games. And I'm like, and they're a nice person, but I'm just like,
Mhm.
what else we gonna do? Like, I don't, I'm over this. Like, I'm over this. Like, I want to go somewhere. I want to have new experiences. Like, doing the same consistent thing is insanity, right? Like, doing the same
Girl.
consistent thing, thinking that you're gonna have something different is like insanity. It's insanity. And also like the trait of like laziness as well. It's
Mhm.
like, bruh, let's
Mhm.
let's get up. Let's get up. Let's push ourselves. Let's put some action. Um, Word up, son. Word up. Like, what we talking about laziness in relationships? It's funny because I start thinking about my old best friend. Like, shorty ain't wanna walk nowhere. Like, we can't just bruh, like, yeah, I don't wanna walk. I don't like, bro, stay home. I'm gonna go find some new friends. Like, what the heck?
No, for real. Like I was in a dynamic for 3 years, and I felt like I don't know, when I was in it, I was like, at some point it was fun, it was cute, and then at some point when I was trying to do the like not the same old thing, it's like, for instance, okay, like I love to go dancing. I love dancing. Like can't tell me nothing. Raves, house music, like
Mm-hmm.
salsa. I'm outside. I'm outside.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyways, and in the beginning of my relationship with an old partner of mine, like she took me out dancing, and I was like, okay, like cool, we're having fun, switch it up. Yes, I'm being wooed right now. And as like the connection like continued, at some point she stopped doing the things that she was actually doing. And so one day I brought it up, and I was like, hey, like I'm gonna go dancing. Let's go dancing. We haven't been dancing in a while. Let's switch it up. Let's do something different. Because all we did, like, we would literally come home from work, depending on who was working when or what, like, order dinner or like make dinner, watch TV, smoke, go to bed.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, like,
Right.
this can't be my life.
Right.
Mm-mm. I'm way too adventurous for this. Like, no, like, this is cool, but like, no.
Switch
And
it
it
up.
was really hard. Like, at that moment, it felt like really hard to find like different things that I was like, okay, like I want to do this and I want to do that and da da da. And she was very heavily introverted, so for her, she was like, no, like I'm okay. Like she wanted to be invited out to these things, but like I knew she wasn't gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to a point where I just started like living my life for myself, of like as I should, and going to concerts and traveling and hanging out with friends and doing all these different things. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm like I lived so much for myself that I didn't find the point of like being in this relationship anymore.
Yeah, I totally feel that. I think it's really important, like in your life as an individual and partnerships, friends, all that, to definitely switch things up and try something new. Like, I actually have this like kind of unspoken rule. Well, I'm speaking
Mhm.
now, but I have this like unspoken rule that I have with myself that for my birthday, I'm always gonna do something new for my birthday. And that can be like there was even one year I literally did a juice fast. And that
Mhm.
was the first time that I've ever done like liquid fast. I wouldn't say just liquid, literally a liquid fast for my birthday, because my connection to it was a lot of times for birthdays. like people get lit and turn up or whatever, and it's supposed to be a celebration of your birthday. Why are you doing all this unhealthy shit and it's a celebration of your birthday? So I was like, you know what? I want to switch it up and have a liquid fast. And the last few years, like, I mean, I've attempted to do it again, but it hasn't 100%, you know. But that year, that year, it was something new for me. And, you know, I was like, you know what? I like this. And so every year, whether I'm in a different place or even if I stay in New York, I literally like go and look for like, let me do something new this year because I'm celebrating my life, you know? So that's like to share.
Thank you for that.
Yeah,
I'm actually going to start doing that for me.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to like even because I feel like sometimes people are like, yeah, it's just a birthday. That I'm like, yeah, well, just do something new today, even if it's small. Like try a new food, try a new fruit, like you know, like something. Like it doesn't have to be extravagant. Like literally just something. So you could be like, yeah, for my whatever birthday, I remember I tasted this fruit. Like you know, I remember I did this. I remember I went to this place that was different. You know, especially being in New York, like take advantage of New York. The other day I went to Governor's Island for the first time and I was like, son, why have I never been over here? It's fire. Like
I love Governor's Island. Oh my God.
It's so dope. Like and then apparently they have like events over there all the time. And I was like, I'm gonna start getting out here. You know, like just even that day, like doing something new for myself that day was like it just opened up my world in my mind, you know, just doing that one thing that was new, like going to a new place, even though it's still in New York, just going to a new island, you know. So that was really good. I have a question that came up as we were chatting.
Okay.
I want to ask, how do you like find time to manage your relationships and friendships?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. Honestly, like everything's intuitive based for me, to be honest with you. So like I'm not like you know, like I mean, you know me personally, so like I'm not a really scheduled type of person, to be honest with you. But honestly, I intuitively do that with like my friends and like my business and things like this. So like for instance, right now I'm actually in solitude. I am working on one order, but this is just for an event that was promised and like was planned like months ago. But with my friends, I usually honestly is I go intuitively. Like I'll look through my messages, I'll text, and then I'll just like, hey, like I'll see an event or something, and then I'm like, ooh, like that, like if you come up, I'm like, ooh, Bubbles would love this. Or like if I see like a dance, I'm like, ooh, I should hit up like Famba, like something like that. Like that's how I go based off. Like I'll see an event and then I'll think of somebody, and I'm like, ooh, like okay, for instance, when I think of like when if I think of like house music, like I'll hit up like Zen. I'm like, yo, Zen, I see this, you know, house music thing. Like, what's up?
Yeah. So I feel that, and now I'm like I want to get deeper now. So now I wanna ask like how, because I'm like I feel like a child right now. Like I'm very curious. How do you also like when it comes to like your romantic relationships? How do you decide like who to hang out with when? Because I'm not now. I'm like, well, how do you decide that?
That's a really good question too. Honestly, it varies on the mood and what I need. If I
Okay.
feel like right now I only have like one partner. I am open for other partners, but like my plate is kind of like full in like a professional like business setting. But like yeah, but when I did have multiple partners like like few months ago, like I would honestly go based off like what I like needed or what I wanted at that moment. Like I knew if I wanted to have fun and do something adventurous and spontaneous, like I knew I can get that from both my partners at that moment, but I will go for one more partner in particular than like the other.
Okay.
Depending on their scheduling as well. Like or if I knew
Like, let me hit up
I
this
was trying to be like some introverted, like, yo, like let's have it just chill and just like maybe play some games or like get like you know, go to the park or something. I don't know, depending. Then I'll hit up another partner because then I'm like, oh, like I know they'll be down for this, or that's how I decide. Honestly, everything is
Okay.
like this is my world. You're just living in it. Like it's just that's just how I feel though.
Yeah. no, that's dope. That's fun. Like, yo, yeah, dang, got me thinking about my teenage years. I used to be outside. I was outside. Yo, so me and my sister, we was both outside, and I remember. You remember AIM?
Yeah.
Okay, so AIM was like that spot, to talk to everybody.
Yes.
I had a whole category because I was telling my sister, I was like, how do I put like all of the dudes I'm talking to, like, how do I put them in like a category?
Yeah.
Like, because I kind of want to be able to just look at them. She was like, oh, you should put flowers. So you remember the word flows? Like, yeah, that's my
Yeah.
flow or whatever. So I had a whole category that was like my flowers. So I would like look at my flowers. And that's how, so yeah, but like I said, I remember in my experience when I was talking to people, I was just like, I was just tired after a while because I didn't know who I told what to. And I wasn't being honest about it. Like, it wasn't like I was telling everybody. I'm talking to multiple people, yeah, yeah, it's me and you know what I'm saying? Like, but also I wasn't like in a relationship. It was like that whole thing, like, oh yeah, we talk or whatever.
Mhm.
And that's the thing too. I feel like going back to like thinking about what works for you. I
Yeah.
remember even when I was younger, like, and I would say if I was to find somebody that like I really did like, it would make me not want to talk to anybody. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get rid of this flower category.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. Yes.
like
That was dead me. Like younger me, I would be like, okay, like
this is cool. But here's the thing. I remember I would literally we would talk, but I had this thing when it came to like we weren't in a relationship per se or whatever, but because I really liked them and I felt like, I used to be like, yeah, I don't care if they're talking to anybody else, but it's like I like this person, so it's us. Like it's like I don't even want to talk to nobody else. But it's kind of interesting when I think about like how I used to think about things. Like it wasn't necessarily like we needed to be in a relationship. It was more so like, no, I just need to like you enough
Mhm.
and feel like I won't get bored with you. And then now it makes me not even really want to talk to anybody else because I feel like they're boring now. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I know exactly what you mean. I've been there. I've done that.
So yeah, so I appreciate you coming on here and just like
Thank you.
sharing your experiences because this is really a fun conversation. And I feel like I want to even like in the future have like more deep dives about just relationships in general and the types of relationships when not even just like polyamory and all that type of stuff, but also just like what are some healthy relationship examples, or what are some things that you used to settle for that you no longer settle for, like
Yeah.
what has been, that's what just came, the development of relationships throughout the years, like the development, like how your old relationships used to look, what you learned from it, how you did it different in the next. Because something that I would say consistently that I was doing for a while. I mean, I ended up talking like some years ago, like I ended up talking to somebody else and I was like, bro, this is going down. But I felt like for a consistent while, I was going up. Like I would always talk to somebody like that did something that the old one didn't do and like just get
Mhm.
better in it.
Mhm.
But that's how I knew I was going through some trauma when I started going downhill. And I was like, wait, hold on. My old relationship didn't even do this. Like, why am I talking to you? Like, this is not even making sense. How am I going through this? But it's like, I realized that we have to learn. We have to learn, like, from everyone that I've been with. I know that I've learned, whether it was more healthy or more toxic, whatever it was. I definitely learn in every relationship. So that's the part that I do enjoy, just with the whole being with different people, just being able to take what you can to note and everything, and then being like, I'm
Mhm.
gonna leave that, I'm gonna take this, leave that, you know. But yeah, word. So yeah, I think that's all for me. Is there anything else that you would like to share with the people?
Just one more thing, and then I'm out. Okay, so the only thing I would like to share, honestly, is I would say after every relationship, even like from years ago, like just things like this. Okay. Well, first let me say this is actually my first time, like not my first time, but within the last couple of years, like maybe 5 years, I've been doing relationships. Other than that, I've never been in a relationship besides like the last 5 years. But what I will say from each person, whether I was in a relationship with them or not, honestly, I learned something new from each dynamic, and it just made me become better. And like whatever, like what worked, what didn't work, and things like this. What I like, where I played my part, and like of course where they played theirs.
Yeah. You know, as you're talking about this, I forgot that I kind of wanted to talk about sex, but I'll leave that for another topic, another conversation, because I wanted to. I feel like now, and I feel like we talked about this too, coming on here and talking about
Yeah.
celibacy and all that. So
Yes.
let's leave that for another one out, because I want to talk about that in like relationships with celibacy and practicing
Yeah.
that and how that looks and stuff like that. So let's leave that for another one. But all right, cool. Thank you. So yeah,
Yeah.
so okay. So thank you for sharing. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for being your like vulnerable and just open. And yeah, like again, I just wanted this to be like judgment-free zone. And again, like I'm also just curious. Like I want to ask questions. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like what you like I like that question about like how you choose who to hang out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah, that's valid. That's valid. Because I feel like I'm a very
yeah.
mood-based person, so I'm like, I don't know. Everything's mood-based for me. Like, what I want to eat, what I want to wear, everything like
Yeah.
mood-based.
Nah, I feel that. I totally feel that. And that's definitely like Pisces energy. Like for
Fast.
sure. The flow. I love that. So yeah, so thank you everyone for who came on, who tuned in, who will see this later on and all that. So you already know the way that we start is the way we gonna end. So we just gonna do 3 collective breaths and then we gonna get out of here. Okay? All right. All right, so whenever you're ready, you can either close your eyes or whatever feels comfortable for you. Put your hands wherever you feel comfortable. And we're just going to take a deep inhale, remembering to bring the breath down to our toes. And then we're going to hold it each time, okay? So take a deep breath. Hold. Exhale slowly. Take another deep inhale when you're ready. And hold. Exhale slowly. One more. Let's make it count. Take a deep breath. And hold. Slow. Give yourself a hug. Say, I love me.
I love me.
I am balanced.
I am
I am patient. I am free expression.
free expression.
I am divine.
I am divine.
I have everything I need.
I have everything I need.
I am loved.
I am
Share to. Thank you so much for your time and energy, everything.
Thank
So,
you for having me
yeah,
and just being open and free.
of course. Thank you so much for always just being open and willing, you know. See that we talked about that, you know, this is why we have built such a great friendship and bond, you know,
Mm-hmm.
openness and willingness to support each other in whatever way that looks like, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. And oh, I want to say this, and something that you've definitely like inspired me as well is just like communication with friends more, because I appreciate how you just like reach out at these like spontaneous times. And I'm like, I want to do that more. And I tend to do it with you, but I'm like, but it makes me want to do it more. So like, I mean, I kind of started with other people too, but I'm more do it with you. But I'm like, it inspires me. And I'm like, let me just hit her up and just say, hey, you know, let me just, you know, because communication is key. And you never know what someone's going through that day or whatever, and how just like a message to just say hello can like
Mm-hmm.
inspire
Mm-hmm.
them. Like when you send me flowers and stuff, like I love that. Like, you know, so thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I'm just a random texter, but I'm here for it all.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much. So yeah, so I love you.
I love you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay.
And yeah, and thanks everyone. That's all, folks. Bubbles and Sam, you already know who we am. Peace.